What up, Kane fans? Welcome back to the program. You might notice a little something different today. Number one, my partner in crime, Flo, is not here with me on our usual Sunday night spot. And number two, this isn't his channel. This is mine. So he's off tonight. Doing his thing. Wish him well. Taking a little break. So it'll be me tonight. Me hanging out with you guys, talking some Canes. We will have a guest on in a few minutes. And as soon as he's ready, we'll bring him on. Philly Kane, what's up? Autism awareness. Good evening, sir. You had a good weekend? Yes, I did. Hope you did as well. Very relaxing weekend. And it's not over because I'm off tomorrow. So hope a lot of you guys have the day off tomorrow. I know not everybody gets that day off, but I do. So that's nice. Anyways, got a few things to discuss from this past week. First off, little congrats is in order to the baseball team. I was cautiously optimistic heading into this season with all the new portal additions and all the new freshmen and all the freshmen from last year that became sophomores. I'm like, yeah, there's no way the team's any worse or, they just kind of plateau. They have to get better. So I'm a big baseball guy, as you guys know. So especially Canes baseball. So to see them come out of the gate and just put unholy whooping on Niagara, 3 just absolute blowout victories. We just completely mollywopped them. So that was cool to see. Chalupa, what's going on? That was good to see. Some people are like, yeah, it's Niagara. It's like the equivalent of us playing FAMU in football, right? No, not so fast, my friend. It is not. Niagara, thank you for Jazz Santana to bring this to my attention. They are actually a tournament team from last year. They made the tournament. Who didn't make the tournament? We did not make the tournament. So they had a pretty good year last year. They won 38 games. Talent-wise, like Major League Baseball talent-wise, I don't know how good they are there. Do they have ACC talent, SEC talent? Probably not. But that was not a terrible team that we just destroyed. So that was good to see out of the gate and seeing all that offense, all those runs scored. I believe, if I remember correctly, Friday night game, we won 14-2, something like that. Last night, Saturday night, we won 10-0, and today we won 11-1. Mercy ruled them. Game was over by the 7th inning. So great job by the boys, JD Arteaga and the boys on the diamond. Do you believe we will take some of Coach Harris's recruits? Yeah, so we'll talk about the football stuff now in a second. But no, I just wanted to give a big shout out to the baseball team for starting red hot. They are 3-0. Hope they can continue that. I believe they have. Who do they got next? I think they got Princeton next. Yeah, I think they got Princeton next weekend. And then Florida, I think they go on the road to face Florida, and then they come back home to face UConn after that. So, yeah, it's going to be an exciting one. So back to football. Do you believe we will take some of Coach Harris's recruits from the Baby Lizards? Well, if you hadn't noticed, there was one that decommitted recently. And Kevin Porter said, sure hope so. Seatbelt Waters has already decommitted. So there you go. Jalen Waters, nicknamed Seatbelt, love that name. Decommitted from Florida. I believe it was yesterday or the day before. All the prediction guys coming out and saying that, he's heading to Miami. He's Miami bound. We will see. It is a position of need. In today's day and age, you cannot have too many great defensive backs. You can't have too many great corners, too many great safeties. You need layers and layers of talent and depth at that position because good teams know how to throw the ball. They know how to run the ball, as we've covered. They know how to move the chains. They know how to, win the ground game. But they also know how to hit big plays over the top. Look at Ohio State. They can do both. They can run the ball well with great efficiency and with with Jeremiah Smith and Will Howard, that connection, they were able to hit some big chunk plays. And in years past, Ohio State, all those great wide receivers because of Brian Hartline, you need guys in your secondary that can defend those players. So that is big. So, if we were to land somebody like Seatbelt Waters, that would be big. And Will Harris's impact will definitely be felt in recruiting first and foremost. But the guy is also a hell of a teacher, from what I understand, which is really important. That's more of the focus for me. Chalupa says his impact will 100% be felt in recruiting. Jalen Waters and Aiden Pouncey were both Harris's guys. Yeah, Harris, Coach Delu, Coach Terry, Zach Etheridge, even all have some good reputations in recruiting, and it's going to be felt in a positive way, I think. Yeah, we'll be getting our guest on here in 1 second. Yeah, looks like I think he's ready. Good to go.
What's going on, man?
What's up, dude? How's everything?
Okay, how you been? Is it too late for a Happy New Year or what?
I think past like January is the cutoff. But yeah, man, how's everything been? I haven't had you on the show in a while. I just realized. I think like right before the season started was last time. Like right before the Florida game was last time I had you on.
Sounds about right, man. Everything's good, man. Can't complain. It's the first Sunday without football in a while, while. So we gotta get ready.
Yeah, man. So yeah, 6 months roughly, I think. Yeah, because our first game is August 30th or 31st. So,
so we got the combine to look forward to, the draft, and then it's hold your breath.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Oh, real quick, I was going to ask you about this. I know you're a big NFL guy as well. Did you see the stuff that was coming out? I know you're not a Dolphins fan, but I was curious. Did you see the stuff that was coming out about the whole Bullygate thing?
Bullygate?
Yeah, do you remember Bullygate, the thing with Jonathan Martin and the Dolphins?
Oh, yeah, I do. What happened? What did they say about it?
Apparently, all the stuff's coming out now that shit was all a lie.
What?
Yeah, look, after the show, look it up.
I'm not surprised, man. That guy does
the whole thing, like throwing incognito under the bus for all that stuff. Apparently, it was all BS. That's what's coming out now.
I'm not surprised because that Jonathan Martin guy looked like a fruitcake. I'm not surprised, man. I'm not surprised. Wow, that's a shame.
No comment.
It's just crazy that if that was true, how come nobody else came and said that earlier, like his teammates or something like that? Like, what the hell?
And apparently Jonathan Martin himself is one of the ones coming out saying it, actually. So Chalupa's saying that stuff is crazy. Yeah, no, that I was reading a little bit about it today. I'll dive in a little bit more because I was kind of prepping for the show, but apparently
that's messed up.
Apparently that was going on. And didn't Jonathan Martin go to the Niners? Or didn't he play for the Niners at one point?
I don't know. We weren't very good around that time. I can't remember if he did. His impact wasn't that much of an impact. I can't remember. I remember him here, and I don't remember anything else after that. I remember after here, Incognito went to Buffalo, I think.
Yes.
But, I don't remember about Jonathan Martin because he did go to Stanford, so maybe he did go to San Francisco.
Yeah. Apparently, what Chalupa's saying, that's what I read too. That his parents were pushing that narrative that he didn't want to lose the signing bonus or some shit like that was involved. But whatever.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Anyway, back to more positive things. Some Canes football. Some news this week. Some positive news about the coaching staff that I'm pretty happy about. I don't know about you.
Mm-hmm.
We won't know until they step on the field, and I'm really taking a wait and see approach this year more than any other year. It's like we're heading into year 4. It's like, okay, we're at the level. We're a decent team now. We got a roster now. It's like, okay, now you need to show me. Let's prove it. This week we picked up former Canes defensive tackle Coach Damian Lewis to coach the defensive line, to coach the D tackles, which I'm happy about. I think he did a solid job at Colorado last year, and he was one of my favorite defensive players back in the day.
Yes.
So I like that.
Very good player, right? Very solid, very dependable.
Yeah, first rounder, played many years in the NFL. Then you got Will Harris, who was like, man, I love when Mario makes a petty move. Like, oh, you stole 2 of our recruits? Okay, I'll steal the coach that stole the 2 recruits.
I have
What
Mario
do you
written
think?
all over it. Oh my god.
Yeah. So what do you think of those two hires, man? What were you feeling?
I'll start with Lewis. It was perfect. Everybody knew that we were kind of hoping for and searching out a guy to coach the line to help JT out, but specifically the D tackles. So I was doing some research for the article that I posted, and let me pull it up here because I don't remember it by heart, but some numbers on what Lewis did at Colorado the 1 year he was there. So obviously 1 year at Boulder, right? The defensive line, his top 3 sackers from the defensive line came from the D end position, right? Of the interior linemen, which is his specialty, the top interior lineman with the most sacks was Amari McNeil. He had 3.5 in 7 games only. Okay. So that, whatever. As a team, Colorado, they sacked quarterbacks 39 times. Of those 39, 25 of them came from the linemen. In 2023, before he got there, the linemen sacked quarterbacks 17.5 times. So there was an improvement. I didn't really care about the points per game or all that stuff, yards per game, because that's more of a total defense type of thing. I was focused more on what the interior guys did. So, I mean, that's good. I like the fact that he's a Cane or whatever. I was listening to him talking to his players at practice, and he's an intense guy. And that's Mario all over. Mario's not this, okay, well, let's get him, guys. Let's go, win one for the Gipper. No, he's an in-your-face guy just like Mario. So I think that fit is good. Jason Taylor's just like that. You see Jason Taylor go crazy on the sidelines, and I don't know. Somebody told me that he almost threw a table at one of the coaches that's no longer here. So that's kind of cool to see. But I think he fits right in, man. And he's one of those guys that's, I don't want to say proven because he only had really 1 season of doing it, but he showed that he belongs, at least in the D1 ranks.
For sure. And Chalupa was saying, I guess he's talking about Zach Etheridge. That connection with the Texas schools is going to be huge. Yeah, I believe Coach Delu has a footprint in Texas as well.
I think he's from Texas, if I'm not mistaken. I think
that sounds right. Yeah, I know he's not from South Florida. So, yeah, just recruiting alone, I think, is going to be big. Stealing Will Harris from the Gators is just fantastic.
Listen, that is the gut punch of gut punches, okay? Because you lose your top recruiter, you lose a hell of a developer, but then you lose him to an in-state rival that you lost to, and then you play in a few months. That's like a triple whammy. Like it's and we're already reaping the benefits of it. Jalen Waters, all that stuff. But there's another one that, Canes fans probably forgot because he reclassified. He was a 26 guy, 25 guy now. Javari Flowers. Will Harris was recruiting him too. Okay. Will Harris was recruiting him too. So he's a 25 guy, still uncommitted. I think he has until April. I think that's when guys have until that they could sign, because signing day isn't the last day to sign. It's actually the first day to sign. So he has until, I want to say, April. I don't know. But look out for that. So we'll see what happens there. But what I'm wondering to see is how many of the guys that he recruited to Florida that signed with Florida, I should say, maybe with maybe not this year, but maybe after their freshman season. Stubbs, maybe a receiver. I don't know. This guy was credited with a lot of big names when they committed, so we'll see.
Dallas Wilson being one of those names.
Yep. So that's what I'm interested to see. A year from now, how many of those guys that he was talking to maybe pull the trigger and transfer to Miami?
Yeah, and about Javari Flowers, who reclassified, it's almost like Mario saw a weakness, the secondary, right? And he's just pumping talent and numbers at that secondary.
Yep.
It gets to a point where it's like, damn, it's slow down, Mario. Like, there's only 2 quarterback spots. Like, only somebody can be on the field. But I get what he's doing. It's kind of like cream will rise to the top. If somebody leaves, that's fine.
Yep.
And he's getting guys that have multiple years of eligibility. So it's like, yeah, they're portal guys. It used to be it's changed so much just in a couple of years, right? Like a couple of years ago, it's just, okay, you're getting like 1 year plug-in guys. The portal was mostly that to get 1 year guys, 2 year guys. Now you're getting guys with 3 years of eligibility left because you wouldn't see a guy that will play his freshman year, do great, and bounce. Now you see that everywhere.
Right.
So do you think that's kind of, I mean, I think well, maybe not. I've always thought high school recruiting will always have a place in this, but now it's like you can get a guy in the portal with 3 years left. It's almost like getting a high school kid.
Yes, that's why I think that finishing second is very important in a kid's recruitment because you just never know if they want to leave after year one, wherever they end up signing. Finishing second is highly important, but I'm one of those guys that still think that high school recruiting it reigns supreme over the portal, and I'll tell you why. Because I found myself saying this several times in the past couple of weeks. Like, okay, getting Carson Beck is great. You know, I love the pickup. Getting this guy's great. Getting this guy's great. Getting this guy's great. But we just signed the 6th-ranked class in the country 2 cycles ago in 2024, right? For the 2024 class. Wouldn't it suck to not have those guys ever hit the field and contribute? Like, we made a big deal about signing the best defensive line class in the country, okay? Lightfoot, Pickett, McConaughey, Justin Scott, you name it, you know, Jones, all these guys. And they got to play. They have a chance to play. Yeah, Blay is here. Okay, great. But that's a 1-year guy. Scott should start. For me, it better be Scott and Blay in the middle. That's for me. There's no reason why Scott has been paying all this money, whatever it is. You were able to pretty much sit and watch a year. Okay, let's go. Blunt is another one that I left out. Another guy that reclassified. It's time. You know what I mean? And you know, after 1 year, if guys leave, you got to at some point be able to develop to depend on the guys that you sign. That's why I think that, to me, high school recruiting will always, you know, mean more to our program than the transfer portal.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and I hope that remains the case because just on numbers alone, you got to be able to fill the rosters, and you always, high school will always have a place in it,
especially with Mario.
Yeah, because for all the guys that will play 1 year, like because there's a lot of these 1-year deal guys, you know, that they sign a big NIL deal, they come for 1 year, and then they reevaluate at the end of the season. A lot of teams are doing that now. But there's going to be guys that are like, they're in it for the long haul. They know they're not going to play right away. They might develop. So there's always going to be those guys too. Juan is asking, John, what are you thinking of, or what are you hearing of the freshmen who are impressing at the workouts? I keep hearing Joshua Moore's name. I hear his name as well. I'm hearing he's not a freshman, but David Blay, I hear his name a lot. So I have a feeling he could be an impact guy this year. I am hearing a lot of Armando Blunt, who is part of that class that you mentioned, Mike. He's a little younger because he reclassed, but I would not be shocked one bit if he makes some kind of an impact because last season at 17 years old, he was like this close to cracking the rotation. Yeah, he played, and I think he's going to make an impact this year.
I think he registered a sack on the season, if I'm not mistaken. I'll look it up now, but I think he registered a sack against somebody.
Yeah. Who else am I hearing? Brock Schott, I'm hearing a lot of great things about. That kid's a freak. And he, just as good as a tight end as he is a defensive end, which is great. But he'll probably make more of an impact at tight end, I would imagine, in the long haul.
Right.
But no, those are some of the guys I'm hearing about right now. Joshua Moore, I hear a couple different people saying that, don't be surprised if he starts. You know, some outside people talking about the team.
So,
I mean, that's a lot of receivers, though.
Would I be surprised? No, but I'll tell you, I'll be disappointed because I want to see JoJo Trader. I want to see JoJo Trader. I want to see Chance Robinson. These guys were no pushovers at the time of their signing. So what? You forget to play football in a year? Oh, man. I love Joshua Moore. And should he get snaps? Sure. May the best man play. But if he doesn't, if he plays over a guy like JoJo Trader, then I'm wondering, like, what is he that good, or is JoJo Trader just not it? You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a 50-50 thing.
Yeah. And and Horton, that's another dude. He's just got to freaking stay healthy. He's not part of the 24 class, but yeah, he's another guy that if he just stays healthy, man, he can be an impact. Artavius Jones, I think you mentioned Jones. I'm very excited about him.
Yep. And it wasn't Blunt with the sack. It was Justin Scott that had a sack.
Okay. Yeah, no reason. Justin Scott was a 5-star recruit, like a top 10 recruit overall or something. There's no reason you shouldn't be starting.
Yeah,
by the time you're a sophomore, you should be starting.
Yeah, if you're a 5-star, I agree.
Yeah, D-line and O-line are not like running back. They need time to develop. Yeah, that's true. We need to develop our high school recruits. Hopefully QB1 is already on the roster. Skip the portal next year. Yeah, since we're on the subject of quarterback, I was going to ask you, I don't think I've had you on my show to talk about him since we've gotten him, but Carson Beck is on board now. So that was a pickup I was very pleased with. To go and get 2 years in a row now, get the number 1 QB in the portal. He's not Cam Ward, obviously. We all know that. But is he the veteran, the dependable veteran that can run this offense efficiently? Oh, 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. What were your thoughts there? And then leading into play by the rules' question here, do you think once Carson Beck is gone, QB1 is on the roster already?
So I'll start with Beck. And look, the only reason people are down on him is because of how he looked towards the end of the season, kind of down or whatever. But would anybody be even talking about how he looked if it wasn't for 700 yards worth of dropped passes by his receivers? I don't think so. All right. This guy was in the Heisman conversation to start the year. He was a first-round draft pick to start the year, and it didn't end up that way. And so me being a Niners fan and seeing what Brock Purdy had to go through, I'm not concerned at all about Carson Beck's injury because, number one, he had the same surgeon. And number two, there was no setbacks at all with Purdy's recovery or injury or anything like that. There was never like, oh, we got to hold him back because he had a setback, anything like that. So Miami's medical team is top notch. So I think he'll be okay. The only concern that I do have, and I did not think about this until it was brought to my attention. I wasn't thinking about it, but it's a very good point. Talking with a buddy of mine, and he said that, I don't know when Beck's able to throw, but when he is able to throw, it's not like if he's going to have the entire spring. It's not like if he's going to have from January, the time he got here, to the fall because he's hurt. So to develop the cohesion and the timing and all that shit with the new receivers, especially guys that didn't play last year, that is something to look into, which leads me to believe that Miami may lean on the run a lot heavy in the beginning of the year, and then the pass game may catch up with the run game later on in the year, and then they'll probably peak at the right time, and Miami be clicking on all cylinders maybe, I don't know, October, November, because you don't just develop that relationship with the receivers overnight. You don't.
No.
New offense for Beck, guys that almost never played. Do you know who Miami's leading receiver is coming back? And I should say pass catcher. Put it out. You know who Miami's leading pass catcher is coming back?
Well, all the guys that put up numbers last year are gone.
Exactly. Mark Fletcher is Miami's leading reception guy with 10 receptions. Yeah. You know who leads all guys coming back in yards? It's Elijah Lofton with 150. Okay, so these new guys, CJ Daniels, and they have the work cut out for them. They got to get in there and they got to get in the books, so to speak. So, but to your other issue, do I think QB1 is on the roster? Yeah. Isn't what's his name already enrolled? Luke Nickel already enrolled, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I do think he's on the roster. But hold up. Darian Coleman's next year. So I in an ideal world, Luke redshirts this year, 2025. He plays 2026, which is when Coleman will redshirt.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2027 will be Nickel's redshirt sophomore year.
His third year. Yeah.
His third year. And that'll be Coleman's first year on the field. Hopefully nobody transfers and everything's happy and everything's great and we're winning. Because if it happens like that, we won't have to hit the portal. So hopefully it works out that way and, whatever. But yes, I do think QB1 is on the roster. Absolutely.
I feel the same way. And I love Luke Nickel. Love him even more now with the senior tape he put out there. Darion Coleman, I am ecstatic about. I really hope he doesn't go anywhere. But that stuff is so fluid. You know how it is now. But no, I agree on Luke Nickel. I'm Judd Anderson's nothing to sneeze at too. I think he's developed quite a bit since he's gotten here. So this spring will be very interesting for the quarterbacks. They're gonna see a ton of snaps since Carson Beck is out.
I think they still need another arm though. Can you imagine worst case scenario and he's sidelined for however long? Does Luke Nickel play? You don't want him to. Who's playing Emory? Who's playing Judd? I think they're best served to find a veteran guy that knows he's not going to start, but you're only going to play if this guy and not no Reese Poffenberger type, like a guy that you know has snaps in. I even say the Big 12. I don't care. Just a guy that's been around. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hopefully, even if it's like a career backup or something, but like a P4 career backup that's actually can throw the ball. You know?
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's likely. If Emory hits the portal, yes, for sure you got to go get another arm because you can't just go in with 2 scholarship quarterbacks.
Yeah. But
even then, Judd and Luke are going to see a ton of snaps, and I think that's kind of the silver lining. And Beck being out is Luke Nickel will get that much more, exposure in the spring, which I think will be a good thing.
I agree.
Another one, Malachi Toney. Yeah, dude's he's a pup. He's a baby, because he graduated early as well. But love his style of play. He's an absolute dog on the field.
Mr. Florida, right? Mr.
Florida, which, people were, we lost Drake Stubbs and Gavin Nix on signing day. So people were disappointed with our signing class. It's like we still had like a 12th or 13th best signing class. But you forget you had Mr. Georgia, who was nickel. You had Mr. Florida, who was Malachi Toney, and you look at the history of who won Mr. Florida over the years. It's a list of it's absurdity, that list. Off the top of my head, I know Willis McGahee was Mr. Florida back in 2000, 2001.
Okay.
Pretty sure Derrick Henry won Mr. Florida.
He should have. That guy was the best player in the country.
I'm pretty sure Frank Gore. No, I think McGahee beat Frank Gore for it.
Yeah, I don't think Gore won it. Yeah.
Both were Canes. But yeah, that's just stupid talent that has won that award. So yeah, the guys that we did bring in are nothing to sneeze at. And I can see.
And then you brought in the best running back in the state of Pringle was the number 1 running back in Florida, if I'm not mistaken, right? I think.
Let me pull it. I think number 2.
Oh, 2. Okay.
8. I mean, you could be right.
He was up there, but I wasn't upset at the class. In 4 classes, 3 really, but 4 under his name. Mario has brought in the 13th, the 8th, the 6th, and the 13th class, according to 247. So I'm not complaining.
Yeah. So on the 24/7 composite, Gerard Pringle's number 7 in the state.
Oh, okay. In the state?
Oh no, number 7 nationally. Sorry. Number 24 overall player in the state of Florida. So, yeah, you might be right. I think he was number 1.
Okay.
Joshua Moore is the one I'm thinking of. He was the number 2 best receiver in the state of Florida.
Okay.
So
number 2. Wow. Okay.
But that's who, when we were clicking, that's who we used to get. We used to get top 5 at every position.
Yep.
I'm happy with the defensive coaches we hired compared to what we had. Yeah. But if you look back at 2022, that coaching staff with Kevin Steele and all those guys, that coaching staff was fantastic. It's just it did not work. Well, not Gaddis, but everybody else, yes.
Yeah, on paper, I don't know what was missing. I don't know if it was too many egos in the room. There were 3 former head coaches on staff. It was crazy. He just accepted a position actually in the NFL, I think. I've read recently Charlie Strong. Hold on. Charlie Strong just went and picked up a job at the Bucks. He's their D-line coach. He recently got hired as a D-line coach. But, man, I was excited about that. In retrospect, you can talk crap about it. But in the moment, you couldn't tell me that you weren't hyped about Kevin Steele, that you weren't hyped about Charlie Strong and all these guys. It feel like a glove, you know what I mean? But Doesn't always work. I remember one year when FSU was doing their thing that they hired this all-star staff and it didn't work out at all, kind of like just like Miami. I forgot when it was. It was around the time that Bobby was kind of fading out, but they hired this superstar staff and it didn't work out.
I remember Florida doing the same thing. I think it was Urban Meyer's last year with Florida. Tim Tebow had I think, I mean, maybe you could correct me if I'm wrong or the chat can. I vaguely remember Tebow was gone. This was his first year after him. And Urban Meyer's coaching Florida. And he hired like Charlie Weiss as his offensive coordinator. The way I remember it is that like they also had an all-star staff and it's obviously didn't work out. And then, the Urban Meyer does his, I want to be with my family thing and leaves. So yeah. Mo, if anyone is missing seeing the Canes on the big screen, go watch Captain America. Yes, they do. They do make an appearance. Danny Ramirez, big Canes fan, was wearing a Canes tank top in the movie.
That's awesome.
I have not watched, well, that's not true. I've watched some Marvel movies, and since Endgame, I can tell you personally, I don't they've been trash since Avengers Endgame. Yeah, I haven't liked any Marvel movie since then. Apparently this one's good, so maybe I'll watch it.
Okay.
But man, what was I saying? Yeah, so that coaching staff on paper you would think was fantastic, but how can it not work out? But I think this is my opinion on that. I think the roster we had then just did not click with that coaching staff. And Flo was on my show the other day and he said something perfect. He was like, that wasn't a rebuild kind of staff. That was we're ready to win now kind of staff.
Exactly. That's true.
They weren't going to rebuild or be part
of it. They weren't trying to be that.
No. But now I know people are going to ask, what's different about this class? We're not going to know until they step on the field. But I think you have a lot more younger, hungrier guys, coordinators with something to prove. And now I think you have the roster that can take tough coaching because Damian Lewis, I saw the same video you saw talking to his players. And, not Zach Etheridge, the DC, Heatherman. Looks like a serial killer.
Like a Viking or something.
Yeah.
I think something different too is like they're not super duper established. They haven't done it for 10 years. Like, what you're going to get with, say Miami was able to hire, what's his name, that everybody wanted from Georgia. What's his name? The defensive coordinator, the South Muschamp. You know what you're going to get with Muschamp, right? Okay. You should know what you're going to get with a guy that did it 1 year at Minnesota, but he did it 1 year at Minnesota. You know what I mean? So he's not super established in the game in that regard of having good years stacked on top of good years, stacked on top of good years. There's no question with Muschamp. You kind of are hoping to see that again with Heatherman. I think you will because he knows what he wants. He knows the type of coaches he wants. Because to me, D-Nick was not a bad coach. All right. But if he says, I kind of see things different than he does, and I trust myself for the linebackers, I kind of like to see that. You know what I mean? I don't have a complaint with any of the position coaches on the staff because to me, if your boss is telling you to do XYZ when you know it should be ABC, I can't fault Taylor or guys like that. Everybody's like, oh my God, Taylor this. He's running a defense that his boss is telling him to run. So how are you going to blame Taylor for anything? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. So I gave those position coaches kind of like, a pass or whatever. But we'll see this year, man. Like, nobody has any excuses. Like you said, we got the dogs to do it. So
got the dogs to do it. And yeah, you got a lot more in your face coaches that I think fit that Mario style. So I don't see any excuses. We only need one linebacker coach.
I think Heatherman is going to get that.
I think that's Heatherman's job.
I think he's going to take that.
Special teams, I don't know what's going to happen with special teams. Maybe
Mario should take special teams.
I was going to say maybe Mario coaches that himself. Some head coaches do that. They just take the special teams themselves. Again, I I played very little tackle football in my youth, but I don't understand what's so hard about it. You kick the football off, you run in a straight freaking line, don't deviate, you stay in your lane, and make the damn tackle. I don't know what's so. We gave up two, they were both in wins, but we gave up two kickoff returns for touchdowns in key moments coming off of touchdowns.
Wake Forest. What was the other one?
Louisville. The Louisville game should have been a blowout, man, because we took a two touchdown lead. Restrepo had just scored. I think we were up 31-17. Ensuing kickoff, they score. It's 31-24 now. Takes the momentum away completely.
Jesus. Yeah, I forgot about the Louisville one. I was
been
at the Wake Forest game, so I remember that one. But
yeah, me too. But it impacts the game so much. I mean, having a great returner. I mean, I feel like we haven't had like Travis Benjamin is kind of the one that's coming to mind. That was the last great one. We haven't had that dangerous guy back there that teams fear that they kick away from.
Yep.
When was the last time you see us? You got to go for a second? No. Yeah, when was the last time you see us block a punt, block a field goal?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I remember we might have had one after that, but I remember in 2020, I think we had one at Louisville. I want to say it was I forgot what corner blocked it off the edge. I think we ran it back. It wasn't who was on that team? It was a corner that blocked a field goal. We ran it back.
It was Clemson.
It was Clemson.
The 2020 season. Yes, it was.
Blocked one, I think.
I want to say. I know not DJ Ivy. I think DJ Ivy scored off the block.
Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah,
it was him.
Blocked a field goal during the USF game.
24. Oh, okay. I don't remember it.
All right. I feel like, yeah, okay. But block punts, I think, are more impactful, and I feel like we used to do that a couple times a year.
Yeah,
I feel like we used to have a handful of returns for touchdowns. Yeah, we would find ways to impact the game through special teams almost every single week. I feel like we don't do that outside of, okay, we have the best kicker in the country. Great. That's easy. Right. But I'm talking the special teams unit doing something impactful.
Yeah. Like Robert Bailey calling out that he's going to knock somebody out at the beginning of the game.
Yeah. DJ Dallas was a decent returner. You're right. Yeah, and in that game, I believe Robert Bailey did that in that Cotton Bowl against Texas.
He called it on the opening kickoff, and he did it. That's.
Can you imagine being on that? Talk about setting a tone. That after that hit, I'm sure. It's a W. We're winning this game.
I could not imagine. Who says that, and then goes out and does it? You know what I mean? That's like Hester. He said I was going to run back the opening kick, and he did it. You know what I mean? So that's ballsy stuff. I love it.
That's tone setting stuff. All right, I see your message. You only got. We're only going to be on for a few more minutes. Yeah. So now heading into year 4, night and day difference talent wise from when Mario got here. Yeah, night and day difference. Financially, they're pumping money into the program, as you can see. Yeah. What do you think we're missing at this point? Just getting out there on the field and just getting the wins. It's what do you think? What do you think they're missing? What do you expect? What are your expectations for year 4?
It's beating the guys you're supposed to beat. You know what I mean? I would be, as any Canes fan would be, but you beat Florida handily last year. Beat them again. You know what I mean? There's no reason to lose to Florida. There's no reason to lose to Florida State. And call me what you want, but I don't think beating Notre Dame is out of the realm of possibility at all. Because watching Notre Dame last year, they looked exactly like they did to me in 2017. You got a quarterback that is just there, okay, to manage. He can use his legs, okay? They are unathletic on the offensive line. You put speed in front of them, they struggle. They can't pass, and they're a great running team with a good defense. That's the same team in 2017 that we mollywopped at home, right? Except you don't know who your quarterback is this year. Riley Leonard was decent, but he's not coming back. You're losing your defensive coordinator to the NFL. That's pretty. I don't know. Everybody has holes to fill, but to me, they're not. They weren't a great passing team last year, and I don't think that. I mean, you have the portal, so everything's different. Okay, you can flip that overnight, just like Miami flipped their secondary. But to answer your question, beating teams that you're supposed to beat, man, beating teams that you're supposed to beat is number one on my list, because there's no reason Miami should have lost to Georgia Tech last year, and there's no reason Miami should have lost after being up 21-0 on the road, right? So just closing the deal. Like, we're past the days of, oh, this team's down 10-0, they're gonna lay down and lose. Mm-hmm. It hasn't been the case since Mario got here. Like, these teams compete. So it's just taking it from week to week, man. I think they have the talent. I think they have the experience, and I think they have the coaching. So getting to Charlotte is not enough for me. You got to get to the playoffs as a conference champion. And 5 wins, 7 wins, 10 wins. We need 11 this year, bro. I don't think that's impossible.
We can beat. I know. Say we get to Charlotte. Like, I agree. I think we should. No reason why we shouldn't. We get to Charlotte. Let's say we face a really good Clemson team. We can beat that Clemson team.
Yeah.
I know we can, because we just did in 2023. We beat a solid Clemson team with the same quarterback and all that stuff. So
he's better. He's gotten better. I think Clemson's
gotten better
this year.
He's gotten better, but so have we.
Yes, you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right.
So whether it's them or SMU or they gotta bring it home.
And I just think there's a lot of guys on this team that it's their money year. Like, it's Beck's money year. He's playing for a first round pick. It's Blaze's money year. Okay. Oh, yeah. He's playing for a first round pick, and he had a very good year last year, right? It's Fletcher's money year. This is his third year all of a sudden. He's a junior, right? Yeah. And so, there's a lot of things in play that I just think that if that O-line maintains, we've had 2 years in a row of good health on that O-line. If that maintains, I think the sky's the limit. If that run game, because like I said, I think we're going to be run heavy first, because I don't know if that cohesion is going to be there between Beck and his receivers, right? I think that kind of gels later in the season and then meets up. So we'll see, man. That O-line has to be big for Miami.
Yeah, I see that early little gauntlet we've faced this year of Florida and Notre Dame. I see those being very physical, knockdown, drag-out kind of games, because they're early. They don't know our offense yet, so we're going to be running the ball a lot in those games.
Yeah.
And I can see us grinding out victories in both those games.
I can, because if the defense is what we hope, that's all we needed, man. That's all we needed last year, so we'll see. Yeah.
Klubnik is a penchant for making critical mistakes at critical times. He did improve. Yeah, no, we'll see. This is his money year too.
Mm-hmm.
Two guys, speaking of guys that's their money year, 2 guys on the O-line. Markel Bell, that dude stands to make a lot of money in next year's draft. At 6'9", 8 million, whatever pounds he is, that dude's going to make some money. And Maui Noah, CC Maui Noah, that's another one.
And Cooper too. He's playing for
Cooper too. Yeah, absolutely. Those guys are all massive.
Yeah.
So a lot of guys, you're right. It is their money year. Robert Bailey not only knocked the guy out at Texas, Bailey made the next 3 tackles, had 2 other tackles for loss. An interception, could have been MVP if not for Russell Maryland and Darren Smith. Yeah. God, those names.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's what we need to get back to, bro.
I know. Oh, we're on our way. I see a few guys. I see, the Reuben Baines and the Mark Fletchers. They're there. They just got to get to hit that next level. Mm-hmm. I think it's doable now. Will Markel Bell improve? He's got to improve his footwork, his mobility. Out in space, it's a struggle. But at 6'9", that kind of wingspan, I see some Brian McKinney there. Although Brian McKinney can move for his size.
Yeah. The thing with Bell is once his paws are on you, it's over. It's just he's got to get his paws on you. That's the thing.
Yeah. No, but he improved so much as the season went on. I have no doubt. Another off season and then another season, I think Bell will be just fine.
Yep.
D-line should be much improved. I agree. We go one better. We go 11-1. Yeah. Anyways, I don't want to keep you on too long, Mike. I know it's Sunday night. But yeah, man, I appreciate you hopping on and chopping it up with me as always. But yeah, anything you want to plug? I know you do the show sometimes with Max on Tuesdays.
Yeah, we actually, he we do it together. Big Mac, he's kind of on a hiatus right now, and he'll be back when he's ready. That's pretty much it, man. That on Max. I started writing for Athlon Sports. So I have a link here. I got a link right here. I'll put it in there. So I put in since last week that I started. I think I've had like 7 articles already so far. So let me put the link here, and you guys just check them out. It's nothing like we don't already know. It's like when something comes out, I'll just kind of put my opinion in it. But here it is right there. Control, boom.
Awesome. Sweet, man. So I will share that in the chat, and I'll put it in the link down in the description for the video. Sweet. But yeah, man. No, thanks for being on. Appreciate it. Thanks you guys for hopping on with us and with your comments and your likes and all that stuff. It all helps. So thank you for all the engagement. We got 90 in the chat right now. So thank you guys for watching. I will be back on Tuesday. I will be having a guest. So yeah, until then, everybody enjoy your night. Go Canes.